is Sandra Edwards, and this is about my relationship with Dr. Arthur Adams of Jacksonville, OWCP. This is the letter from 19-1 stating my accepted condition. In February of 2011, this is a letter from Mr. Arthur Adams where they're doing something to try to change my diagnosis. Then here's something in March 29th where they did change it. Signature on there is Mr. Arthur Adams, which led to, of course, the situation where I went for the second opinion. The doctor was sent the wrong diagnosis, a 35-year-old diagnosis. I was terminated, lived homeless from June until December. When I asked for a copy, I was told it was shredded. The Veterans Administration helped me to get a copy. I was reinstated November, and in December of 2011, this is a letter I wrote to the Inspector General at the Department of Labor in Washington, D.C., complaining of how I was being treated by Mr. Adams, who had yelled at me on several occasions and talked down to me like I was an animal. On November 7th, when I was reinstated, the letter said to restore me appropriately. However, Mr. Adams yelled at me at this time, told me he was not going to pay me. He and two other claims examiners were going to go through my file, try to find common symptoms, and go after me for dual compensation. On March the 13th of this year, this was something from Mr. Parker giving me an extension on a letter that they had wrote to me in February 23rd claiming dual compensation. And that I had an option to either sign to get compensation from them or the Veterans Administration. However, I refused to sign because I was not clear about it, and I was given until May 3rd. On April 30th, I wrote this letter, and my doctor wrote a letter also stating that it was not recommended that I make any legal or financial decisions at this time until everything was resolved between the VA doing their investigation. However, when Mr. Parker wrote his letter, he stated, "We have received undated letters from you, received May 7th, which is not true. These are the letters dated April 30th. And from my attorney insisting that it is not dual compensation." They ignored the letters from my attorney stating that it was not dual compensation. I went on to see my senator's office, who and then in turn on April 25th attempted to contact the Veterans Administration so that they could look into this matter. By May 28th, this is the letter that the Veterans Administration had sent by May 9th. They stated the Department of Veterans Affairs does not require the claimant to make an election between VA and OWCP. Elections are requested by OWCP. And then that was dated the 9th. This was a letter that Mr. Arthur Adams, here's his signature, wrote to the senator's office, trying to convince them that, this was dual compensation and that an increase in veterans, blah, 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 blah. It's like he was trying to explain himself why it was dual compensation. However, he had no documentation from no doctor, no one, just him stating it was dual compensation. And apparently the Veterans Administration does not think the same, and I will go on to show you proof of that in a few minutes. By May 17th, I received a termination letter 8 days later, stating that because I did not make a decision between the Veterans Affairs and them, that they were closing my case and forwarding the overpayment information to the Veterans Administration, which they are not going to be dealing with this issue at all because they don't count workman's compensation. So they never gave the Veterans Administration time to even do an investigation about something that they had been brought into by Mr. Adams through these letters. Now this is this is a letter, this is a form that was sent to a doctor in 2009 with a diagnosis that was 35 years old. Okay, the doctor who did my second opinion was sent this diagnosis to do his second opinion, which of course I was reinstated. But what was so peculiar was on March the 12th, 2012 of this year, I went to the local VA and I asked for a copy of the diagnosis information they have on me. Lo and behold, for the first time since 1974, I saw this diagnosis, the same one that the claims examiner had used to get me terminated. And the wrong date is here, 12/1/2007, that I was 100% from 12/1/2007, and I have been 100% since 1993. This was done by someone 12/1/1998. And during that time, I was under workman's compensation. These are my rating letters from the Veterans Administration that are in question. This and this, this and this are paragraphs of conversations back and forth between OWCP, letter 12/26/1990, H. Lampert, Office of Workmen's Compensation. It goes on and on that way. It's there and here. So the Office of Workers' Compensation knew about this diagnosis or any changes that has taken place with me the whole entire time I've been on disability. So why is Mr. Adams coming forward at this time like he's made some new revelation or new monumental discovery when OWCP knew about it, had conversations submitted by OWCP? Once again, Miss Dr. Lamb, 1991, letter from H. Lampert, OWCP, second letter, 26/1991. Just constantly, you have back and forth information on my Veterans Administration rating decision, 1992. For Mr. Adams to come up at this time after 20 years and make an issue like he has discovered a new revelation, to me is unnecessary harassment, unnecessary aggravation. It has been an abusive and reckless experience dealing with Mr. Arthur Adams. For some reason, he has become unhealthy in his obsession to destroy my life. He knew from June till August, when I was homeless last year, that my medical information had been changed, yet they still would not reinstate me until I got a letter from a doctor, the correct doctor's report, which showed the wrong diagnosis. Then when I got reinstated, he refused to pay me. Then he threatened to have claims examiners look at my file, which they have no legal right to do that. My civil rights were violated with this latest situation because I should never have been coerced to sign anything that has a life-changing effect to it without the VA being able to answer for themselves. And they did. They too also feel like this is some sort of retaliation. Everybody who hears it feels that way. It has become unhealthy and dangerous the way Mr. Adams has developed this obsession to destroy my life. I have now moved out of my home again. I lived in my own home for exactly 90 days between May of 2011 and May of 2012. I think this is shameful. I'm asking for anyone who sees this documentary or this video to please reach out and help me. I am sending it to other OWCPs because I feel that these two men need to be removed from my case. They have caused havoc in my life, destroyed my credit. I believe Mr. Adams would like to see me commit suicide. I believe he wants to win at any cost. So I think that there should have been no basis for the termination on May the 18th because, first of all, the conclusion was not brought about by anyone in the medical field. He had no right, and if the Veterans Administration is not worried about it, thank God they were smart enough to document all the conversations with OWCP in 1993, and I thank them for their professionalism in that matter. So Mr. Adams, to me, jumped the gun. He didn't care. He knew that even maybe if I was reinstated, he still didn't care. He wanted to use the government, once again, their funds and manpower to play games with my life. And apparently it seems to be okay. So I'm reaching out to other organizations to please look at this matter and do something to help me. I am a patient. I am once again now without medication or doctor's care. So I am asking that anyone who hears this, please contact your local OWCP to inquire with the director of the OWCP in Jacksonville, Florida, to find out what is the problem. This person needs to be removed from my case. So does Mr. Parker. It appears that I have become the highlight of Mr. Adams' life, that somehow he gets his thrills out of antagonizing a mental patient, to sit back and watch my life be destroyed. You've never met me. I don't know you. So what is motivating this hatred? I'm black and I have a mental disorder. Take your pick, which is it? Or is it both? But there's definitely something terribly wrong. This is not professional. This is very personal. Thank you.